Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, before I get into the video, please smash the like button. Smash the like button. I really need you to smash the like button on this video. Guys, as I've been doing videos about Demetrius Andrade and the situation and Janibek and Eubank and all those stuff, I've been asked, because I've actually not broken down how I think the fight between Janibek and Andrade would go. And I've been asked, who do you think would win that fight? How do you see that fight playing out? And what do you think their strengths and weaknesses are? How do you think that fight plays out? I've been studying a lot of Janibek and been watching, and I've obviously seen Andrade fight quite a bit. This is a very difficult fight for Demetrius Andrade. However, just from the get-go, I would be picking Andrade to win the fight, and I'll tell you why. I'll explain why. Janibek is a very, very dangerous fighter, a very good fighter, and I think Andrade has flaws in his game that Janibek can take advantage of. Especially if Andrade fights the way he did against Liam Williams and the weaknesses that I'm going to bring up. Andrade has a habit of fighting in spurts. I don't know whether he has a stamina issue later on in fights, but he definitely slows down later on in fights and tends to just how do I put this? Go through the flow during fights. He'd start off very fast. He starts off like a steam train, and he reminds me a little bit of Amir Khan, where he's very fast and very explosive early on, and he drops a lot of guys early on. He dropped Liam Williams. You know, he took Quigley out. He's even capable of taking guys out early because he's very explosive, very fast, almost got very fast twitch muscles, where he's very explosive and he's very, very fast. If he can catch you cold. He's done that a couple of times. Of course, Demetrius, we know that his level of opposition hasn't been great, but regardless, if he fights even a good level fighter, I think he can catch him cold. Amir Khan was the same, and he has the same kind of explosiveness, in the sense that Khan fought at a much higher level than Andrade in terms of the opposition that he fought. But even Khan, when he fought guys like Maidana, he dropped Maidana with a body shot early on. Peterson, he dropped Peterson early on. Khan had that explosiveness. Andrade has that as well. Andrade, for me, could get himself in trouble against Janibek, and I'll tell you how. If Andrade stands on the ropes, stays static on the ropes, Janibek has very, very fast hands. He's very, very skilled, and he's very, very fast. However, he's fast when you're static. If you're a static target, which Andrade can't be, and Andrade has the skill set to not be, I think Andrade could outbox Janibek and win potentially on points, or even stop Janibek, because Andrade has very underrated power. He can hurt you, and if he hurts you, he has got the capability of wiping you out. Andrade has got underrated power. Some people think that Andrade hasn't got power. He has got power. He's got very explosive power, but at times he's not a big knockout artist by any stretch. But he's fast and he's very quick on his feet. And if he's moving, because he's got quicker feet than Janibek isn't the quickest on his feet. However, if Andrade stands in the pocket with Janibek, he's dead. He's going to get knocked out. For me, I feel that Janibek can take him out. However, if he boxes and moves, I think Andrade wins the fight on points. I do. I think he beats Janibek on points. But it's a very, very dangerous fight. It's a 55-45 fight. And I'm only saying that is because Andrade's got a lot more, experience. His level of opposition has been poor, but he's still been around for a very long time. He's been a pro longer. He knows the tricks of the trade. He's been in the game a lot longer. You know, he's been in the game a lot longer. He's got a lot more experience. You know, and I think that's a big, big problem. And forget the level of opposition, the eye test. What people don't realize about Andrade's a very, very good fighter. I know people talk about, oh, he's fought nobody. No, trust me, Andrade can fight. I've seen him. I've watched him closely. I've watched a lot of footage of Andrade. I've watched a lot of his fights. He can fight. He's very, very highly skilled fighter. He's very, very fast on his feet, fast off his hands. Andrade has a concentration issue for me. At times, he's so talented and so good at times. Sometimes he can start admiring his own work. He loses a little bit of concentration. It gets a bit too easy for him. Barry Jones mentioned this about Demetrius Andrade, where it gets almost so easy for him, where he starts to lose concentration. Liam Williams got to him. He can't afford to fight the way he did against Liam Williams because he'll get wiped out against Janibek. However, I don't think he will because I think he understands the threat that Janibek brings. And again, Dimitri Bivol fought very poor against Craig Richards. However, he raised his game against Canelo Alvarez, and Demetrius would do the same against Janibek. If Demetrius is on his game, on his A game, sharp, razor sharp, like we know he can be, I think he beats Janibek. I wouldn't be surprised even if he stops him because, trust me, Andrade has got very explosive power. And if he's on it, if he's mentally and physically switched on, this guy is a real freak. Andrade is a very, very good fighter. It's just that he hasn't had the opportunity to show it. We don't know how good he is. And I think he beats Janibek. But I'll say this as well, on the other side, Andrade might be shot to bits for all we know. He hasn't fought for a long time. You know, he's old. He's getting older. He's had shoulder injury. Also, he's a fighter, I believe. He's a naturally gifted fighter. That style ain't going to age very well. He hasn't got a lot long left, in my opinion, in the game because he relies on reflexes, speed, movement. That doesn't stay with you for very long. Especially as you get older, those things start to depreciate very quickly. So it might be a case where Janibek might be getting Andrade at the right time. And the sad thing is for Andrade is Andrade gets blown away by Janibek. Andrade is going to be seen as a hype job. So there's a lot of pressure on him, on his legacy. Because if he gets beat by Janibek, people are going to view Andrade as a hype job and a guy that never fought anybody. And they'll say that's the reason why he never fought anybody. Because when he fought someone good, he got wiped out. So there's a lot of pressure on Andrade as well. There's a lot of pressure on him. This is a very tough fight. I'm telling you guys, it's a very, very tough fight. But if Andrade is switched on, he wins. If he's at his best, I think Andrade's a very difficult man to beat. I'm telling you. If Andrade's at his best, he's a very difficult man to beat, in my opinion. I believe in the middleweight division, the only guy that I think is a problem for Demetrius Andrade is Golovkin. That's it. And some people aren't going to agree with me. Oh, Golovkin's old. No, I think he's the only guy. To be honest, I think Golovkin has raw power. If he catches anyone, it's good night. Janibek has power. Janibek has speed. Janibek might be even a tougher. He's a southpaw as well. But Janibek might be tougher for Andrade at this point. Janibek is really good. I've been watching his highlights. Very good. Like I said, I think it's a 55-45 fight. I'm favouring Andrade by points, but I wouldn't be surprised if Janibek stops him because, like I said, I don't know where Andrade's at. Mentally, physically, I don't know where he's at. It doesn't seem like to me he wants to fight this dude as well. So that, again, questions where he's at. I can easily see this fight going in Janibek. My heart says Andrade's going to... my heart is kind of saying Andrade... I feel like Andrade has the overall better skill set when he's on his game. Janibek is not as fleet of foot, not as quick on his feet as Andrade, but he's as fast as Andrade, and he's probably got more power. He's probably got more knockout power, concussive knockout power than Andrade. So Andrade can't afford to get in the fight in the pocket with this guy, and he can't afford to stand on the ropes. If he stands on the ropes like he did against Liam Williams at times where he just resting on the ropes, he can't afford to do the rope-a-dope by any stretch. He has to be constantly moving. If he stands on the rope, he's going to get wiped out because Janibek's got really fast hands and he's got power. He's got to be constantly moving. And can he do that at this age? Has he got the legs to do that anymore? Because Andrade, when he was younger, he was really fast, really fleet of foot. He was great. He was a great mover. At this age, he may not be able to do that. But I do think the time now favours Janibek. But my heart says that Andrade will rise to the occasion and beat him if the fight happens. But again, I'm not writing my house on it. It's a very close 50-50 really. I know I said 55-45 because I have to pick somebody. I would slightly edge towards Andrade due to experience and the fact that he's a gifted fighter. But Janibek's a gifted fighter, and Janibek, the time probably favours him. And Andrade also doesn't seem like he wants to fight him as well. So that as well, for me, psychologically, Janibek's been doing the chasing. I think the time favours him, but I think Andrade has the skills to beat him. If Andrade's at his best, which I don't know if he will be, I don't think will be. I'm not sure if he will be, because he's 35, and as I pointed out about his style, it's going to depreciate very quick from now on to the end of his career. I think the time favors Janibek. But if he's at his best, which he has to be, I believe, to beat this guy, I believe he wins on points. I believe he wins on points, and that would be my prediction. But again, I know a lot of you will disagree, but that's just my opinion. That's just from what I see of both guys. I think Janibek is a monster. He is a great fighter. I've watched him. He's a very, very good fighter, and he could definitely beat Andrade without question. This is his hardest fight. But if Andrade's at his best, I'm picking him to win on points. What do you guys think? Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. I want to know your opinions. And leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.